All right, welcome to the Film Files podcast today. It's just Cameron and I. Mike is absent. Good thing.
Yep, he's gone. So
He's backpacking with his wife. I mean,
I
he
know.
needs to spend time with their wives.
so weird.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. We're all married here.
Yeah.
So anyways, not to each other.
Not
To our
to each
own
other. We've
separate
discussed
wives.
this before.
This is an awkward intro, but we're going to go with it anyways. So today we've got a lot to talk about because there's been a lot of drama surrounding the Han Solo movie, the anthology film.
Yeah, there has. So something that I read recently was about the actor who's playing Han Solo, Alden
Ehrenreich.
Ehrenreich, yeah. Alden, our boy. Apparently, based on what I was reading up on, it was saying that apparently the executives at Disney or Star Wars, or I'm not sure at what point in that chain,
Gotcha.
they weren't pleased with his performance. They're not very pleased with his performance as Han Solo. And the article I was reading was going on to suggest that this could be a really good thing because that's just showing that they really care. They want to make sure that Han Solo is being treated correctly, that he's going to be portrayed correctly and honored. So, but it's definitely kind of awkward in that regard because it leaves us as the fans kind of questioning. A lot of people were already very hesitant about a Han Solo movie, and hearing these kind of things are only making things more
People were
awkward.
hesitant about a Han Solo movie?
I know I kind of was. I mean, Harrison Ford is still alive, and we just watched him, in episode 7, and this other guy doesn't really quite look like Harrison Ford when he was younger, so it's just, I don't know, I personally find it kind of weird. Yeah. Honestly.
So just to give you guys some context behind what's going on here, I think the writer and director duo we have here, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, they left 3 weeks, or so they left the production of the Han Solo film over creative differences, and both sides says, well, we don't want to say creative differences, but in actuality, that's probably what it closely resembled, and that even the source THR that was talking about Alden's performance, or Alden, said that performance might have been coaxed out from those two, the creative, the director and the writer, and so, I mean, that would be enough, I guess, in their minds to maybe let them go, or because I mean, you got a main character here that a lot of people love and are counting on, so.
Yeah, for sure. So it's just kind of bringing up the question, like, if the vision of the executives is contrary to like what the directors and producers are doing, like what, I guess, where's that line?
And that brings me to another point. It reminded me, I came across another article that was talking about like how much power should executives have within studios, and contrasting it with what happened with Marvel. And let's go back to Avengers and Joss Whedon. And Joss Whedon's somebody who has done lots of successful TV shows, and they've all been canceled, and he's gotten kind of run over the mill by studios before. And it's so when he was doing, he did really well with Avengers, and then did Age of Ultron, and Ultron was heavily influenced by executive decisions. And by the end of it, he basically said, this isn't my movie. Like, this is somebody else's movie. This isn't my film, my vision, things like that. And so that's where that question gets thrown in, is Disney is owners of these different properties, whether it's Marvel, whether it's Lucasfilm, whether, it's Pirates, whatever it is, right? So I don't know, like, what's your opinion on that?
It's kind of weird because I feel like, yeah, the executives are the one. I mean, it's a business at the end of the day,
right?
So they're very concerned of making sure that these films are successful,
right?
So I can understand why they would want to have such a heavy influence, but then at the same time, I feel like they're businessmen. They're not necessarily, filmmakers, producers. They might not understand as well those aspects,
right?
And I think it just kind of shows, because we talked a bit previously with last week about Wonder Woman, how the executives for Wonder Woman were hesitant to have the scene for the No Man's Land,
right?
And how eventually the executives were they let it happen, and even though they were hesitant, but look how well it turned out. So
Right.
I think that executives should definitely have some say. They should have concern. They should be there, but ultimately, I think that if they need to trust their producers and their directors and everybody on hand with their film projects, that they're going to do the job that they're hired to do.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point, and maybe we can create an infographic for this. But so the hierarchy of film and the way it works is you have a studio, and then you have producers who are the in between the studio and the creative team, the director, and then from the director it goes down to cinematographer, cameraman, actors, costume designers, set designers, all those various positions, right? But the in between there is the producers, and I think you make a really good point. If studios are gonna elect people that are good at business to be in charge of like the company and to have that power to be able to make those decisions, they do need to be trusting of the people that have the artistic experience, I think, and the field experience to be able to run those companies. And I don't think there's anything wrong with either with studio execs wanting to be more involved and like be on the lot and understand what's going on and learn about film and learn about the filmmaking process. But like with any business, if you have somebody up top who doesn't really know what they're doing, I mean, that, like you said, that can present problems. And so the film industry thrives on delegation and understanding that you can't do everything, right? So like as a film producer myself, like I've understood beginning out just on my own, like, yeah, I had to do everything. But if I try to do everything, each of those categories is going to be lackluster compared to if I hire somebody or work with somebody who's excellent in film or in camera work or in editing or whatever. I can let those people excel in their areas, then overall it'll excel. Anyways, we've gone on a tangent, but just an interesting topic.
Yeah, and I think when we bring it back to Han Solo, just with what's going on there,
right?
It's hard to say. I mean, I feel like a lot of this is just stuff we're hearing through the grapevine and stuff.
Right.
I mean, there's obviously a lot going on that we don't ever hear about because, I mean, it's kind of secret stuff.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, I still trust it's going to be good as a diehard Star Wars fan. I'm trusting it's going to be good. I mean, I feel like Disney's done a really good job so far with Episode 7 and with Rogue One.
Right.
So I do trust that Episode 8 is going to be good and that Han Solo is going to be good.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Bob Eisner, who is one of the executives at Disney, I remember J.J. Abrams talking about the screening that he had, and Bob Eisner or Bill Eisner, I can't remember his name. I think it's Bob Eisner. After he watched the film, he was like, "Good job." And J.J. Abrams was like, "You wouldn't change anything?" He's like, "No, I trust you." And so I don't know if that's coming from who J.J. Abrams is or if that was the initial trust put on him. But I mean, obviously there is a sense of trust there with these people. So
maybe the executives don't trust who they hired, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. Or maybe, I mean, there could be a myriad of circumstances that happened leading up to this.
Yeah. And something else that I had heard with Alden with his performance, apparently it even went so far that they hired on an acting coach like on set while they're there like filming. So it was kind of I don't know, all these things, just things to think about, I guess, but ultimately, I mean, all we can do is watch the film. So
yeah, that's a good point. So just to end on the Han Solo area, Ron Howard was selected to direct, and he did films such as like Apollo 13, and he was originally in the Andy Griffith Show.
That's right.
Yeah. What's his son's name? I can't remember.
Opie.
Opie. Yep. Yeah. And he's done a lot of good film work. So, and then this decision was made 3 weeks before principal photography finished. So, but they're still looking at the same release date for next year. They're just going to extend principal photography a little bit.
Okay.
Anyways, that's a good point to end on. If you like what you see, be sure to follow us on Instagram and all of our social media channels that are flashing across the screen right now. And give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Have a good one.
See ya.